She white? I don't know. We gotta say she white. Yeah, she looks white. I. They look white. They look white, right? Anyway, so now they go find JD Rockefeller, right? And guess what happened? Rockefeller was so impressed that he settled the debt on the property. His wife, Laura Spelman Rockefeller, her sister Lucy Spelman, and their parents, Harvey Buell and Lucy. What the? They weren't married or nothing. Henry Spelman also supported the school. The Spelmans were longtime activists in the abolitionist movement. I didn't know that about the Spelmans, though. Now, the reason why that's important is to say that they weren't allowed to go to school.
Is that an issue right
I'm
now?
gonna stop right there.
She got her law degree, but she wasn't allowed to even practice and be a lawyer. They stopped us.
But that's not what modern feminism is about. That we have
Let's go back.
buildings, the architecture. Men do all of that.
Women
Men
were
are the
also a part of
geniuses.
it, though.
It's way more male geniuses that are female geniuses.
That doesn't answer the question, though. The question was, what can they do, not what have they done?
Well, she's answering the question a little bit, but you're saying like they're more men geniuses. They stopped us from reading. They stopped us from
Cap.
going to school.
Cap.
Okay,
The
but
first
is that
black
an
woman
issue right
lawyer
now?
wasn't
So-
allowed to practice law. She got a law degree, but she wasn't allowed to.
Let's see the first black woman lawyer. Let's find out who that was, because I don't even know who that is. Let's see. And she used black woman. So they keep going to us. What about her people? What about her people, right? First black woman lawyer is who? Charlotte E. Ray. Let's find out about Charlotte E. Ray. Let's find out about her. She was the first black American woman to become a lawyer in the United States. Ray graduated from Howard University School in 1872. She was also the first woman admitted to the District Columbia Bar, the first woman admitted to practice before Bro, see, you have to do the research. Notice how the feminist lady said she was not allowed to practice because she was a woman, right? Here. However, she practiced law for only a few years because prejudice against African Americans and women. African Americans and women's made her business unsustainable. They don't ever say, they always tell the half truth, bro. So, but let's go.
Practice and be a lawyer. They stopped us.
But that's not what modern feminism is about.
They didn't stop us. They stopped black women, bro. Relax, bro. But actually, let's do some research. Let's do some research. Why is this in my way, bro? It's in my way. Get out of my way, P. Why am I do not disturb come on? Oh, let's look her up. Where is it? Where's it at? Okay. The first white woman admitted to the Iowa Bar, Mount Pleasant, Iowa, became the first licensed female in the United States. She later became a prominent, educated women's rights advocate. Now that bothers me. So, bro. See, y'all gotta do the research, bro. 1869, 1870, 1870, 1870, 1872, 1872, 1873. All these women are getting to the bar. All of them are going to school to become a lawyer. Cap. I call cap, bro.
We have surpassed that already. You guys can read, you guys can vote, you can do everything you want to do, and you keep making issues. This is why you always talking about the patriarchy and capitalism. You feed it, okay? Why do you think that you are a feminist in the first place? They wanted you to work. That's what they wanted you to do. They wanted two people in the household to work versus one, right? But you hate capitalism, but you serve it. You would rather serve capitalism than serve your man, the man that was put here to protect you.
Yeah, but does your man make enough money so that you don't have to work? This is my thing. These are, if we're talking about family units, these are two people. They get to decide what happens in their unit. And reality is some men are not going to be able to provide all that they can. Talk about pressure. I feel like feminism was good for men because it kind of relieved them of a little bit of pressure.
It lifted everybody up.
Yeah,
It
but
really
it's
did.
made men so much more depressed than ever. It's made them weaker.
I think they just don't like the fact that now they see, oh, women can be as good as us because now that we're allowed to have all these rights,
you ever talk to a
we're
man?
graduating
Why do you
from
have to
college
be
more
as
than
good
they
as
are now.
men? Why do you have to be?
Because we live in their world. And I'm saying because we live in this world with them where they are suppressing us, their bar is up here. If our bar gets lifted, so does theirs. Our bar gets lifted, so does theirs.
Why do women need to be less than men?
Yeah.
Women are not less than men. They're different from men. We provide equal value, but we're different. You can't. It's no way that if you got a man that's your age, your height, whatever, he's going and you race him, you're not going to beat him. More times than not, they're going to dust you, which lets you know that you are not equal to them.
Okay, so here's my argument for that, and I love what this sister's saying. Women, they say women mature faster than men. Women have more emotional intelligence, that men are childish and that. And women applaud that. But when we say that that's just what it is, we don't get mad. Bro, we don't get mad that we don't mature to our late 30s, our 40s, and we get better in life. There are more women more successful early in their life than there are men. We don't get mad about that. We accept it and adapt. Sorry, it's getting late. Sorry. We're gonna keep going. Let's keep going. We got a whole nother video to go through.
You're not equal.
Got a whole nother video to go through, guys. We here all night.
You're more emotional. It's just.
To speak to the emotions, if I could maybe chime in here, right? The idea that like men are less emotional than women. It's like, well, what's the number one cause of crime? Do you guys know like the actual preceding
Emotions.
factors?
Poverty.
It's actually impulsivity, right? ADHD is one of the largest things that is in prison, right? ADHD, impulsivity, right? And drinking. Right, men
What?
are highly addicted.
This is
They're
1920,
suiciding.
bro.
It's actually impulsivity, right? ADHD. Speak to the emotions, if I could maybe chime in here, right? The idea that like men are less emotional than women. It's like, well, what's the number one cause of crime? Do you guys know?
Yeah. We're gonna look. I told you guys, we're doing research, yo. We're doing research, bro. They're not getting away with none of this today. They're not today, bro. I gotta go hard. What she said, the number one factor in crime or the number one reason? What did she say? I want to get it right. She said the number one cause of crime. The number what's in the bro. This cord is in my way and it's making me upset. Sorry, guys. I'm just catting out. My ADHD is kicking in, bruh. Sorry. I'm not going crazy. Okay. Let's go to this one. Stop listening to these people. This is from FBI Data Explorer, right? Criminologists and data from FBI crime data. FBI indicate that crime in America is not driven by a single cause, but by rather an interconnected web of socioeconomic, environmental, and systemic factors. Has nothing to do with what she's saying. Concentrated poverty, lack of educational resources, limited employment opportunities among the strongest predicators of crime. predictors of crime. Areas that suffer from persistent economic instability. What? Well, I can't say instability. Am I slow? Economic instability. That's a tricky word. Instability. Typically see higher rates of both poverty and violent crime. Neighborhood environment, social deorganization, such as dissipated. I can't say those words. Like, bye. I probably got a lisp or something. Anyway, abandoned properties, lack of community resources creates an environment of conducive to criminal activity. Systemic and policy factors. Historical policies like redlining. But why I can't read tonight? Why can I not read tonight? And they probably think I'm slow on this one. Like the red line, as well as uneven access to mental health care, substance abuse treatment, heavily influenced geographical crime rates across variable. Nah, bro. So this. Hold on. Yeah. Variables affecting crime. Okay, that might. See, 1% of the population accountable for 60% of all violent crime. That's a black thing. That's gonna say black people. I can guarantee you. This is so I'm gonna show y'all some. That's why I read this to myself so I can get an understanding. People will go read this and then say what she said because of this one little paragraph. The majority of violent crimes are perpetrated by a small number of persistent violent offenders, typically males, characterized by early onset of violent criminality, substance abuse, personality disorder, and non-violent criminality. That's what she's talking about. But, like I said, you can't, that's not the overall factor. 1% of the population. So let's go.
Like the actual preceding
Emotions.
factors.
This shit crazy.
It's actually impulsivity, right? ADHD is one
Wrong.
of the
She's
largest things.
what I've learned, and this is what I'm gonna talk to about a lot of people that I see sympathize with feminists or who say they are feminists, is they will read a doctrine or they will listen to someone or they'll get bits and pieces of information and put it together and come up with this assumption of what they say is true. And then when you go actually check the data and the actual like resources, when you actually go search for it, that's what I like about going to school, bro. It teaches you to go search for your own resources. And you know, it be BS.
In prison, right? ADHD, impulsivity, right? And drinking, right? Men are highly addictive. They're suiciding at a higher rate than women are. The idea that men aren't emotional is, again, the type of prescriptive perpetuation that is bad for men.
Anger's an emotion.
That's bad for men and it's bad for women. Men are emotional, right? Women are emotional in different ways. You're right. If you talk to, for example, a trans woman who's gone on estrogen, for example, a lot of negative emotions begin to emerge, more specifically like sadness. The issue is that...
Bro, no. See how she tried to slide that in? Do you see how she tried to slide that in? I have nothing against trans women at all. Listen. But you just said, do you see how trans women merge into specifically more sadness when they start taking estrogen? Duh, it's a chemical imbalance in their body that's not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be that. Yeah.
We all act like logic, devoid of emotion, is wisdom. But there's not even a historical precedent for this. If you look back to like some of the original writers of wisdom, you talk about the Spartans or the Athenians, they loved their feelings. The Spartan men were so passionate about one another and the things that they fought for that they openly sobbed. That's what original Stoicism is. It's an acknowledgement of the feelings and a...
So I gotta get you guys... I got it. Now this one, she is